I gave people all the stuff they really needed. Social security checks, utility bills, TV guide.
I want a TV guidance counselor. TV guidance counselor. Staying up to watch all night, and everything's gonna be alright with my TV guidance counselor.
Hey everybody, welcome to TV Guidance Counselor. I am Ken Reed, your TV Guidance Counselor, and this is the show where each and every week I welcome an interesting person to discuss classic television using a back issue of TV Guide magazine from my personal collection as the inspiration for our conversation, and this week is no exception. Also, side note, you can't see me right now, which you know, that's not a shock, but for some reason I make a lot of hand gestures when I'm recording these. I don't normally speak with a lot of hand gestures, but anyway, just so you can picture that. Anyway, my guest this week, this was really, really fun. My guest is Minneapolis-based comic Ellie Hino. She is really, really funny. She has a record out called Soft Bones, which weirdly, there's a very funny thing that comes up in this episode that's like tangentially related to the phrase soft bones. That's what we call in the business a teaser, but very, very fun. I love this chat. You will too. Also a lot of 21 Jump Street talk if you're a big 21 Jump Street fan. Anyway, yeah, what's up with you? How you doing? What's going on? Let me know how you're doing. Email me at tvguidancecounselor@gmail.com or ken@icanread.com. If you have show guests you'd like me to try to get on the show, just how your summer is looking, anything else like that. Hopefully, again, I'll be out and about a little bit more this year, barring any unforeseen major disasters, which, as we all know, I'm prone to. Or you can become a patron. You know, if you're a patron, you could be flipping through the PDF of This Week in TV Guide, this 21 Jump Street TV Guide right now as you hear this, and playing along with Ellie and I for $5 or more a month. That could be you. $1 or more a month. I'm just very, very grateful that you do that and that you have the money to help support the show. But even if you don't, I just appreciate that you're here. If you have a moment, leave a review of the show. If we get reviews somewhat frequently, it helps new people find out about the show. Yes, even 10 plus years in, believe it or not, there are people who have not heard of the show. I know. It's shocking. Anyway, this week's episode. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode with my guest, Ellie Hino.
TV is my friend, and it has been always there for me in time of need.
Live via satellite from Minneapolis, Minnesota?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Ellie Hino, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Ken?
Good. I questioned it because I'm like, I think you might be the only person I've recorded with who was in Minnesota actively.
Oh my gosh.
Toronto's like above you?
Nah.
No.
Winnipeg.
Okay.
We're like in
Winnipeg.
the middle. Isn't Toronto
Okay.
above you?
No, we have like Montreal above me. Maybe Toronto doesn't exist.
Maybe? I don't
I've never
know.
known anyone who's gone there.
I've been, but I honestly couldn't point it out.
I thought it was further west. Our geographical knowledge, and I don't mean to lump you in with me, not so great. I assume we both went to public school.
Yes. And
Okay.
we really know like TV stuff, probably.
Yes. Well, that's the important stuff. That we can look the other stuff up.
Yeah,
like we don't need to know what
exactly.
these things are. Yeah, Winnipeg is very rural, I think.
Yeah,
from
it's
what I
not
know of
huge.
it.
It's
Yeah.
I
I'll
don't
never go there. I'm not ever go. What's even there?
I don't know. I went there once when I was in my early 20s, and I was like, oh, I had a really good beer there. It was called a Catfish Cream Ale, and I still remember it because I was young, and I was like, what? This is a fancy beer.
That's to me, that's the most Midwestern story ever. Like, one time I went to Winnipeg in my early 20s. Sit down for this one.
That's all I remember about it.
I've never been to Minnesota. I've always wanted to go because I'm a big Prince fan. And, Minneapolis, very good music town. You get your Husker Du, your replacements.
He died.
Wait, this is how I find out?
No,
it's
very Prince. It's funny because I told you I grew up in Madison, Wisconsin, which isn't that far. It's like a 4.5 hour drive from here.
That's far.
But Prince
for us.
was like Prince was not that big of a deal where I was from. And when I moved here, it was very interesting to me. Like, you do not speak ill of Prince.
Why would I mean? A,
why would you? Why
but
would
B,
you?
Who was like the most famous person from like Madison? Like, if you saw them out and about, everyone would be like, "You're never gonna guess who I just ran into at the store."
Chris Farley.
Oh, okay.
That's the only one I can think of.
And he's the brother of that guy that was in the boy band on MTV.
Wait, what?
Wasn't that his brother? Didn't they have some fake boy band show that Chris Farley's brother was in on MTV in the late 2000s? It was like a fake reality show.
You know more than me.
Wow, it would have been funnier if I actually remembered Chris Farley's brother's name. that really ruined the joke.
I've met him too.
Oh, really?
Sure. It's a small place over here,
and they're big guys.
They are.
So it adds up. Okay, so I didn't know he was from Madison, Wisconsin. All right, this is making sense. It's all. I've got my head in the right place now. I know where we're coming from. So you watched a lot of TV as well growing up, is what I presume.
Oh my gosh, yeah. What else were we gonna do?
Well, I had an old boss who was from Minnesota, and she worked for Target Corporation. Which, side note, she was in the marketing department, and she told me internally, do you know what Target refers to busy stores as?
Ooh, no, what?
Freaky. And very busy stores they call super freaky.
Super freaky Target.
This is like their internal jargon.
I had no idea. Do you know about their meeting lingo?
No.
They have a coffee that's like a informal meeting, and then maybe a status, or is that a normal corporate
is that
thing?
like within the store?
No, it's like at corporate. Like if the marketing people, they're like, let's have a coffee about that. But it's not really about having coffee. It's like a specific
God,
casual
I hate corporate
meeting.
America. Oh, it's the worst. It really is the worst. But she told me all about there's like tunnel systems and tubes connecting buildings because your eyelashes freeze shut.
Yeah.
And I really thought she was kidding me.
We're silly little gerbils. No, it really is. It's cool. You can walk above the street. I mean, it's cool no one goes in those tunnels unless you work downtown. And they're not tunnels because they're above the streets. They're like, on the second floor.
So tunnels have to be under.
It's called a skyway. Well, I don't know.
Oh,
I guess
skyway sounds much nicer.
It's a sky tunnel.
This is just a tunnel in the sky, you guys. I'm not falling for it. Yeah, that sounds so dystopian. Like if it's like very Jetsons.
It is. It's kind of like weird and depressing because you feel like even if you just go down there, like I used to have to go down there once in a while for like an audition or something not corporate.
Right.
But as soon as you're in there, you just feel like I'm a hamster now. Like I'm one of the many, and this is how we live.
This is
you
like
just
Biodome.
Blend in, yeah.
Very, very strange. And if we go outside, we'll freeze to death instantly. That's how this will go. All right. Well, I'll visit in the summer. Because Boston, cold, summer, miserably humid. So I don't know if you have to suffer that as well.
But we don't care. We're so cold, and we treat it like there's lots of lakes here, so people will be out walking, and it's like it feels like a beach town sometimes because it's like everyone's just so happy to be outside that they're like, I don't care that it's not perfect weather. I'm wearing my bikini today.
Ladies and gentlemen, good enough. That's all we need. Fair enough. You picked an issue here, which is from August 20th to 26th, 88. And it's 21 Jump Street on the cover. So I presume that was why you picked this.
Ken, I looked through all of them. I was like, there's got to be a 21 Jump Street cover.
So big 21 Jump Street fan?
Loved it so much. I loved it so much. My dad called it Teenage Cops. And I mean, he was correct. That's all it was. And it was like all the drama that an 8-year-old could want. Wait, what year was this? 88 or 86?
Yeah.
88. Okay.
88. 21 Jump Street started 87. So Fox was the first time we had a new network since Dumont went out of business in the late 50s.
Wow.
And they had a really interesting way that they launched this network. So because you can't just buy a network. It's like there's 3 of them and they're like, we're not for sale.
Okay.
So their idea was we'll go to each individual city and we'll rent weekends on a UHF station. So when Fox first started, it was called Fox Weekend Television. It was only on Saturday and Sunday.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
As it got more successful, they moved to additional nights, and then they like bought the stations. But that first year in 87, they threw everything at the wall. Like the show mixture is just bonkers. Like none of them make any sense opposite each other. And 21 Jump Street was one of their throwaway shows. Like they didn't think it would really do anything. And it ended up being a breakout hit along with Cops and America's Most Wanted. Those were like their big hit shows.
Crazy.
And which is nuts. And Married with Children, which it was a total last minute addition to Fox. Like they did not even want to have that show on the air.
Oh, wow.
They were like, this is garbage, whatever, we have time to fill. So, Johnny Depp, not a star, although he had been in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 years before this. Holly Robinson Pete, that's who's on the cover here. This is when she's just Holly Robinson.
Oh, yeah. I read the story. Maybe we'll get to it. Fascinating stuff.
It's interesting they picked them for the cover because when the show started, Peter DeLouise was like the star.
Yeah, Doug Penhall.
Yes. And then we get Richard Grieco coming in as Booker.
Ugh, not as good, but I'll take it,
Nobody loves Grieco, I've noticed.
No.
Although I love If Looks Could Kill.
I don't know.
Because he came in, season 2 or something?
He replaced Johnny Depp.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, you can't replace
you
Johnny
can't
Depp.
do that. Not to all us little girls. Look, and I know there's some problematic stuff now, but we're talking
sure.
80s. There were no problems with Johnny Depp in the 80s.
This is pre when he became Keith Richards. This is clean cut Johnny Depp. Although, like 20 Jump Street, like John Waters is in an episode, which is crazy.
He?
Yes. He was such a huge fan of the show, which is how he became a fan of Johnny Depp and got him in Crybaby later.
What?
That John Waters contacted Fox and asked if he could be in an episode because he wanted to hang around Johnny Depp. So there's an episode where John Waters plays a bus driver.
Oh my God. I wonder. So I bought DVDs of 21 Jump Street in like must have been very early 2000s, probably on like a very like midnight run, getting stoned and like go to Walmart in the middle of the night and buy a DVD because that was the only way to... Like, if you hadn't thought ahead and ordered Netflix in the mail, you had nothing to watch.
What is open?
Yeah, so you'd drive out to the suburbs to Walmart and find their, like, weird bin of old DVDs.
Just dive right in.
And I remember finding that 21 Jump Street DVD, and I was like, oh, yes.
Although, complaint... music was replaced.
All of it?
Almost all of it on the official releases. Although if you ever want to see it with the original music, I got you.
No way, Ken.
I have DVD rips of the original VHS taped off TV episodes. So,
holy
if you want the whole effect.
So were you into 21 Jump Street when it was on?
I was. I liked it. But I liked Miami Vice and like cop shows were fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't my favorite show, but I definitely watched it every week.
It wasn't the cop stuff I liked. It was the teen drama. It was the older boys, Johnny Depp and Doug Penhall. Tom Hansen, I believe, was Johnny Depp's character. Tom Hansen and Doug Penhall helping the young teens get off drugs.
This whole scheme would have a shelf life of what, a month? And this is even in the pre-internet age, before word got around that these over 21-year-old cops are pretending to be kids. Like, the U.S. is big, but it's not that big.
What city? And it's not like they're going from city to city in the show.
It's the same city.
They're constantly going to a new high school. Like, these kids don't talk to each other in this
There's one city with 300 high schools. It's like, yeah, and I love that someone was like, I was thinking about Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And Cameron Crowe, what if we made that a cop? Someone was like, okay, I don't know. That sounds fun.
It.
Yeah. I do have to mention Holly Robinson, first of all, she's a second generation showbiz. Her father was on Sesame Street.
Gordon, right?
But she has quite an outfit here. This is, she's got matching t-shirt and teal cowboy boots.
Oh, I didn't notice the matching.
With suspenders that appear to be on backwards.
They cross in front. Yep, pretty cool stuff. The t-shirt has the sleeves rolled up.
Oh, yeah.
Cuffed.
Yeah, no cigarettes, just rolled up. And she's doing a thing I see a lot of people do now where they're taking a selfie with someone and they don't look in the camera right.
Oh, yeah, Johnny's looking right at us and Holly's just elsewhere. She's
over on the side. Yeah. And then, of course, since it's TV Guide 1988, we got the cigarette ads. This is Camel.
So many.
Oh, so many. The Camel one, Camel always confused me because, and forgive me, his face looks like a ball bag, and they always present him like they are inferring he's having sex with these human women.
Right? It's so funny because I listened to a couple of your podcasts before I came on and immediately heard you guys talking about these cartoonish Camel ads, and like I listened to the beginning of Amy Miller's just because I like her, and I was like, oh, that's exactly what I thought when I saw it, because she says, like, when I first saw the Camel ad, I was like, oh, now I always thought they were being ridiculous talking about how it was aimed for children, but yeah, look, it's a cartoon of a camel with Top Gun stuff. He's like he's dressed up like Maverick. So and you got Kelly McGillis in the back. And it's so airbrushed. It's so like I would call that 80s carnival art. Yes. Oh, yeah. It makes me uncomfortable. Yeah. This has got like bootleg Sizzler vibes going on it. Yeah. So, I mean, and then of course there's the other cigarette ad, because there's always at least one brand that I've never heard of before. And this one is just called More. You know what? My husband looked through this with me earlier today, and he was like, that's what Al smoked. Papo, his stepdad, he was awesome. Oh, really? Yeah, he smoked More. And they're a ladies' cigarette. Are they? Yes. That's funny because he was very like masculine. I don't know. Maybe they had another. It is skinny and long. Yeah, they look like they're already in a cigarette holder, but they're not. That's just the cigarette. And it says, what's the theory behind brown cigarettes? It's called the pleasure principle. Which answers nothing. What? Which answers nothing. They've also capitalized pleasure principle like it's a defined term here that we're supposed to know. Yeah, we don't know that, right? No. And this is only a year after Janet Jackson's Control came out, which had pleasure principle. I assume it's not related to that. But yeah, it's this like brown cigarette that's like 3 times longer than a regular cigarette. And it's called More. More. I imagine they did that so they'd be like, picture it. You go into the store, you go, give me a pack of More. And they just keep stacking them on the counter. More. Give me more. Higher, more weight. This would not get me to, because so many of these ads are non sequiturs that I have to believe cigarettes were such huge moneymakers that they would go to ad agencies and they would just be like, we need an ad. Something about theory, pleasure principle. Sure. Like they didn't even, where they're like, I don't know, whatever. There was so much cocaine in the advertising agencies. They were just like yelling stuff out, writing it down, sending it. Who cares if it makes sense? Send it to the press. Yes. Send it, it's gone. So that was always exciting. And then we get Cambridge cigarettes, which I've never heard of either. Me neither. Then I don't know anything about sports, but there's an article about John Madden, and I only know his name because he did Tenactin ads for Athlete's Foot, and some kind of nasal inhaler he did as well. Yeah, for sure. I skipped that one because I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, who cares about him? But the headline's really good where he says, the day I knocked Pat Summerall's headset off. Yeah, I do want to know what made him mad, you know? I would love to see just like 80s sportscasters get into fisticuffs on the air. Would be very, very fun. Probably because he took a drag of his More. Yeah, that's my More. Or we have the slimmest slim in town, Capri. Oh, I remember those. Really? I've never heard of those either. Oh, those I wanted. I maybe smoked a Capri in 8th grade. I think they still existed. Because they just looked cool? They were so ladylike. They were so skinny and tiny. They were the slimmest in town. I mean, they're the same as More. They're just white. This was literally like an ad being like, if you smoke skinny cigarettes, you'll be skinny. Of course it is. It's crazy. Yeah. And it works. What's a great appetite suppressant? There are some that are even more blatant. Like there's one I've seen from 1978 maybe. And it says, I like my cigarettes like my women, thin and rich. And it's like this guy. Oh my God. Oh yeah. This is very vaguely, very slightly coded, but not much. And I do want to mention, I very rarely mention the grapevine section because it's stuff I usually don't care about.
But there's a little piece in here about Anthony Dennison, who plays Ray Luca on the show Crime Story. And I loved Crime Story. Love it now. Loved it then. It's essentially, if you combine Miami Vice with Mad Men, it takes place in Chicago in the 60s. Dennis Farina. And this guy who played Luca was like the big gangster guy. So it's funny because he looks 80s, but also doesn't. Like his photo compared to the other people, he's got this giant pompadour.
Is that the guy on the next with the pink shirt and the big hair?
Yeah.
Oh my God, incredible.
Because it takes place in the 60s, so like early 60s. So, but it's like,
it looks so
what is this
80s.
guy doing?
It's incredible.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. So that's very exciting. And then we get to the Holly Robinson article at the end here, which we'll get to after we go through the listings. Oh God, this Benson and Hedges ad.
I know those people are. This was the beginning.
That's sexual harassment.
Amory, I think.
Yeah. Are they at work? Why do I think they're at work?
They're at work, but there's also something going on between the three of them.
Oh, for sure. But there's also wine out.
It was first the two on the couch, and then this guy who's leaning in, he's just like, I want in on this. What's going on here?
Like, you guys are working late. Burning the midnight oil here? Yeah, because there's a couch, but there's a table with like reports on it. Like they're clearly working.
She's their client. They're lawyers.
Oh, okay.
She's going through a divorce, and they are really taking advantage of her.
Oh, I'm going to go murder trial. Ooh. Her much older husband has passed away.
And she's like, oh, you guys got me. I did do it.
So that's why the wine's out. They want to loosen her up a little bit so she would feel more comfortable talking about this murder case. Yeah. And they're good cop, bad cop in her. Because one guy, he's got his jacket off, but he's got the suspenders. You know, he's not totally casual.
Oh, yeah.
And then this Robert Culp looking guy.
And how did he get from behind the couch as the third to over here? Now they're touching heads. They're touching foreheads. He's in. It sounds
like he made an outrageously inappropriate joke. That's what I feel like happened between those two pictures. Yeah. None of this would make me want to smoke.
Too uncomfortable to leave.
Yes. Yeah, that is not a I'm having fun laugh. That's like a I don't know what else to do laugh.
Oh, no.
For people who like to smoke, Benson and Hedges.
Also, I noticed in this is, I don't mean to be heavy, but I noticed that they drop the word rape a couple times in articles, and it's just like it's nothing. Like in one of the soap opera blips, it was like, in the show where so-and-so blah, 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 and almost rapes her. Like, it's just so casual.
It really is. And like some of it, I'm like, all right, sometimes it's refreshing if they're having like a frank discussion about something that's not entertainment, which they sometimes do. Like it'll be, you know, like Burning Bed kind of thing where they're talking about a made for TV movie. And now like, you know, like we're warning you, there's language here and all this stuff. So it's a little bit shocking. But yeah, when they're talking about it, like, and then remember the episode a couple weeks ago where she got raped? That was awesome.
Yeah, it's like,
it's like, what?
Written as though it is just the same as any other plot point, like just a classic plot.
Yep, you know that old trope. Yeah, but it really like less so in the 80s, but 70s especially, and in movies especially, it was like a plot point for so many movies.
Yeah.
Like the inciting incident in so many movies, and I'm like, come on, like, oof. It's no good. In some ways, we're better off now. I think in many ways.
I don't know. It was weird. They talk about race also in the, like, I don't know if it was Nightline or Frontline or whatever.
Oh, the Ted Koppel thing, yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about, like, having a special about, like, the MLK assassinations.
20th anniversary.
Yes! Yeah, right?
Which sounds crazy.
Because it's like, oh, that just happened. Holy shit. Yeah. But the way they talk about it is so different than race is discussed now. And it's almost, like you said, it's almost refreshing because it's spoken about as though everyone knows what right and wrong is.
Yes.
And we're all in agreeing. Like, I know that racism was horrific in the 80s, but at least on paper, we were saying, hey, it's wrong. There's no two sides to it, you know?
Yeah, we're not going to give you both sides of this horrible thing because the other person's wrong.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very weird. Oddly, the most offensive thing I saw in this issue is on page 29 and 30 of the PDF, and it is this bathroom clock.
I love the bathroom clock.
Oh my God, this is hideous.
And
this is the worst.
There's 2 pages on it.
Well, it comes in 4 colors.
One of them is, what is it? Bone, yucky bone? I don't remember.
Subtle bone.
Subtle bone.
Oh, God. That phrase could be used in so many scenarios, and every one of them's funny.
Oh, subtle bone. And it's the word bath in plastic, and then part of the B is the circle of the clock. And then there's 4 matching plastic butterflies that you can hang around it.
Yep.
But it comes in subtle bone, soft yellow, and powder blue.
It's hideous. And it is the most plastic looking thing I've ever seen. It's $19.99. And using the phrase subtle bone, my favorite thing is it comes from the company Finger Hut.
Incredible. I'm sorry that laugh was so loud, but Finger Hut has always been hilarious to me.
Finger Hut's always funny. I think they're still a company.
Like, how is this real?
Oh, yeah. It was like, who signed us up for this catalog? Whoever they are, thank you.
Also, you can try this bath clock for 30 days for free.
Yep.
You can try it and see if this bath clock is for you.
Send no money.
No.
They'll send it to you. You put it up in your bath. Like, what is the point of, like, we know it's the bathroom. We're all in there, right? Like, and is it to point out, do you put it on the door? What do the butterflies have to do with anything?
Oh, they're just so it looks pretty.
It's so not 1988 too. This is like
it's full
70s,
yeah.
Yeah. So maybe they got this like warehouse full of them.
For sure.
And they were like, I think we can move these.
Absolutely.
That is.
I also saw the Sally Struthers thing at the end.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to make more money? Sure, we all do. What's the.
What is it? Like correspondence school? Like
correspondence school. Yeah. TV VCR repair.
Yeah. Me and my husband were looking at this and saying how we used to look at these cards because it's like the card you fill out and you can check all of the things you're interested in being, like, you know, what you want to learn. And we were like, we used to look at these as though this was a list of like career options.
Oh yeah, it's so many possibilities.
This is what you choose from, guys. You can be an interior decorating person or gun repair, you know.
I forgot that gun repair was one of the things.
Gun repair is always there.
Yes. Oh, my God. TV VCR gun repair. When I was a teenager, we discovered that those prepaid postage cards, the postage is prepaid whatever is attached to them.
Nice.
So you could glue them to bricks and stuff and mail them to people, and then they would get that, and then they'd have to pay the extra postage when it arrived.
No.
So
That's
we would
incredible.
like stick them on phone book. It was, yeah. I mean, we had a lot of time on our hands.
Yes, we did.
At the time.
We all did.
So let's jump into what on Saturday night were you going to watch?
Let's see. Saturday night, I think I was just going to go like some basic sitcoms, Facts of Life, 227, Golden Girls. Although I got to say, I'm interested in Zorro the Gay Blade.
You never seen it?
Nope.
It's funny. It's a comedy.
Does it hold up, Ken?
No. Oh, no. Speaking of things you can't, that are refreshing. Yeah, this would not be a movie that would be made today. And it's exactly the movie that you think it is. Yeah, so we're in summer 88. So Facts of Life had already ended. This is the last time we're getting reruns.
Oh.
For September 88, it was done. The last season had so many attempts at backdoor pilots. This is one of them. This is when they moved Natalie to New York City, and she shared a Soho loft with Richard Grieco,
What?
Michelle Little, and David Spade.
What?
Yep. David Spade played a med student, and he has a dramatic scene on the balcony with Natalie. He like comes in and he's being an asshole, and then he's like, I just lost my first patient today. And it's like, David Spade, you are not an actor. And that's this episode. It's a rerun of this episode. Obviously, the show didn't go.
I don't recall that one.
Yep. Natalie Bites the Big Apple, it's called.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, that was one of the better spinoffs. Like, it's almost like a poor version of Friends.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like a little New Girl-ish.
Yeah, it could have worked. And Grieco, of course, didn't get that.
I mean, Natalie was no Zooey Deschanel.
Well, hey, depends on your outlook.
Okay. I mean, if we're talking Joe, that's a different story.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like Mindy Cohn was the Zooey Deschanel of the 1980s, which would make Jeff Cohn, Chunk from Goonies, the other Deschanel that was on Bones.
Oh my God, I forgot about her.
It all checks out. It's a solid theory. That does really
track, yeah.
But Frank's Place is also on, and Frank's Place was a really good sitcom. This was the last time it aired, and it says it too. It says the comedy First Impressions premieres here next week. And Frank's Place was a really innovative show. It won an Emmy. It starred Tim Reed from WKRP in Cincinnati. He played a Providence, Rhode Island lawyer who inherits.
From. Yes. I looked it up because I was like, what is Frank's Place? It's on like 5 channels tonight.
Yeah. It was good. They put a lot of money into it. It was no laugh track, shot on film, single camera comedy where he inherits his dad's like Cajun Creole restaurant in New Orleans. And he goes down to shut it down and ends up staying and kind of running the place. And it was good. It was also weird because it was an hour-long drama.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. And I read that the 3rd episode or something, there was like a drunk driver, like someone who drank at their restaurant then died, and then he was getting sued for it. So it sounded kind of heavy too.
Oh yeah, there was some very special episodes of Frank's Place, but it was good. It was sort of like Northern Exposure in that like fish out of water, crazy characters around him, but then would have something like really dramatic happen, but it wouldn't seem out of place. Like it made sense. Okay. Like in the context of the show. But it was a great show, and just nobody watched it. Nobody.
All right. Well, I'll watch it. I'll watch Frank's Place.
I mean, it's an hour-long dramedy on at 8 o'clock on a Saturday. Like, no one's watching TV at 8 o'clock on a Saturday generally anyway.
That's not a great time.
No, except for kids. Like, kids will watch Facts of Life and 227. They're not going to watch Frank's Place. And I love 227. This is before it started to go downhill when Jack Hay left. Mm-hmm. And this is when Alfonso Arul comes in as the new handyman.
Oh, I'm going to have to look him up.
Yeah, and they're all like, and Jack Hayes are like, Alfonso. But then it turns out he's a concert violinist.
Oh, fancy.
They're like, he's cleaning the toilets, but he's a concert violinist because they're in DC. Yeah, weird night. Summer's always weird because they're like, it's a mixture of just dumping stuff from the previous year, some interesting stuff, and, you know, we could stay up later. At least I could.
Sure. I had Golden Girls on there too. I think that started at like 9, but is that a rerun?
Oh, yeah.
Or is that?
That is a rerun as well. So this is one where Mickey Rooney plays an old gangster.
Wow.
Who's dating Sophia.
Oh, of course. That sounds kind of familiar.
I find Mickey Rooney terrifying.
He is a strange... Yep, I get it.
He really scares me.
Yep,
like,
I get that.
Babe Pig in the City, one of my favorite movies.
Okay.
No irony. Excellent movie. Have you seen it?
I don't know.
It's fantastic. George Miller made it, who did The Road Warrior and all the Mad Max movies.
Okay.
And it's this cute movie about a little pig from Australia who goes to the big city. And literally the whole message of the movie is that the world doesn't care about you.
Yeah.
It's really grim. But Mickey Rooney plays this like old drunken clown. And I don't even think he has any dialogue. And I have nightmares to this day about it. It is terrifying.
That sounds just awful.
Yeah. They tried to sell it as a kid's movie because it was a sequel to the first Babe, and it is grim. Like there's this little dog in a wheelchair, which always makes me tear up instantly anyway. And his name's Fleelig, and he's got a little butterfly on like a stick in front of him so he can go in his little wheelchair, and he gets hit by a car, and the shot just shows his little bent wheel stop spinning.
No!
It's horrible.
Oh my
He survives. They bring him back.
He does?
He does, yeah.
Okay.
But then they show him and he's not in a wheelchair and he's running in this meadow chasing butterflies, and then they like pull him back. But I'm like, this is not for children.
Holy cow. Now I'm intrigued.
Great movie. It's a great movie.
All right.
Yeah, and Spencer for Hire's on. Shot in Boston.
I would have watched that. Absolutely. I would watch that right now.
That is really good. It's really good. I've rewatched it and it's excellent.
Shoot, maybe we'll have a Spencer for Hire night, because me and my husband were talking about it. And I didn't really remember it. I remember the name. It sounds like it has positive feelings for me. I have a terrible memory, so this is a ridiculous show for me to do. When I was looking through with my husband, he's like you. He like knows everyone's names, and I'm just like,
I'm so sorry. But Spencer is very good. It's smart. It's very gritty for an 80s cop show, and it's well done. Like,
but
it's
was
very
it
noirish.
funny too? Because I remember watching it as a kid.
Some humor in it. But they shot it here in Boston, so like the guest stars are this amazing group of like 80s New York actors. Like all these people would be super famous later on the show. And in this episode, John McGinley is in it. This is about an underground bare knuckle boxing thing. But it's a good show. Only 3 seasons. But I enjoyed it. And I've rewatched it since and enjoyed it as well. There's also the show Hot Seat.
What was that?
So Wally George was like the original asshole white guy conservative TV guy.
Okay.
His daughter is Rebecca De Mornay.
Okay.
And he was very famous in like the LA area, had a radio show. You know, he was one of those guys who was like, no one's going to say it, I will. These illegal aliens. Like he's one of those guys.
Yep.
And so he had kind of disappeared. He was big in the 70s. But because Morton Downey Jr. was so massive in 1987, they pulled Wally George out of retirement and gave him a TV show called Hot Seat.
Oh my God.
And it was a huge bomb, but they're advertising it in here.
Oh, that sounds painful.
Yeah. Morton Downey Jr. Have you ever seen that documentary about him?
No.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
All right, I'm gonna check that out.
You feel bad for him almost, but it also is fascinating to see how his stupid shtick from 1987 has become normal among like 90% of politicians now.
Right, I know. It's
but yeah, Wally George. Rebecca De Mornay is so proud to be his daughter that she is named Rebecca De Mornay.
No thanks, Dad.
Yeah. No. Sunday, what'd you do?
Well, Sunday, I mean, I got to start a little early and do 21 Jump Street at 7. I saw that this was the drunk driving episode. Mm-hmm. It sounds kind of familiar. I remember Captain Fuller getting arrested, or at least pulled over for drunk driving. Those really hard. Those hard for the teen cops.
They were making fake driver's licenses. Do you remember who played the role of Kenny in this episode of 21 Jump Street?
Well, I think I saw. But you want to say it?
Mr. Pauly Shore.
Hell yeah. Was Pauly Shore the one who was making the fake IDs?
I believe he was, yeah.
That seems right. That seems
and Rob Stone is in this episode, who people know as Kevin from Mr. Belvedere, who's been on the show before.
Oh, fun. That's awesome.
And Rob Stone, his roommate at this time, was Doug Benson.
No way, really?
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
It's really strange.
What a small little world we have.
Yeah. Yeah. I just had a woman on recently on the show, and she's in the pilot of 20 and Jump Street, and she told me a thing that I'd never read anywhere else, and it might be common knowledge, but I didn't know it. Johnny Depp is not in the pilot. There was another actor, and they filmed the pilot and then fired the guy when they watched the pilot because the guy was so terrible. And then they reshot all his stuff with Johnny Depp like months later.
Oh, that's awesome. So was this friend, she was just in the pilot?
She's in the pilot, and then they bring her character back in a season 2 episode. So she's in 2 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, she's also in Harry and the Hendersons. She's a teen. Yeah, she's a teen. She plays the daughter in Harry and the Hendersons as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but so she was telling me just recently that how weird it was because she's like, this guy, I don't even remember his name, but he was really not charismatic at all. And then she got a call like, we need you to come back and shoot these with this new guy. And she goes in, it's Johnny Depp, and she's like, oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah, this guy is something's about him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about this guy is pretty okay.
Yeah, because she was in a sitcom later with Jared Leto. This was prior to My So-Called Life. So she's like, yeah, I got stuck in all these things with guys who would be like the I'm a handsome actor guy later.
Oh my God.
Very weird. Yeah, but so this is from the previous season. This is, the drunk driving one. I will say I was 100% watching Rags to Riches at this time, though.
Oh, I wrote down Rags to Riches, ! Just wanted to give a shout out because I loved that. And
creepy in hindsight, very creepy.
Right? How many kids did the rich guy adopt?
I think like 6 girls.
Just it's a bunch of little girls.
Yeah, he literally went into the orphanage and goes, "What do you got left? I'll take them all.
Give me all your little girls.
What little girls do you have?" What a weird show because they were like, look, Annie, very popular. Dirty Dancing, very popular. Let's do a show set in the 60s that's a musical about a rich guy and not just one orphan. It
was a musical, right? Oh my God.
Full-on musical, yeah. They would do like pop hits of the 60s.
Wow. But it was brilliant because what do kids want to watch? Little girls want to watch, what if I had a bunch of money and could have everything I want?
Yeah. Of course, and could sing and dance whenever.
Oh, incredible.
I, for years, had a personal vendetta against baby Jessica. And
what did she do to you, man? She made it out.
Rags to Riches was interrupted by her falling down the well. And there was an episode I never saw the rest of.
Do you know, that sounds familiar to me. Like, I don't have a clear memory of that, but God damn, I would bet money that I was watching when that happened.
I was furious. Absolutely furious. And
I think I had a different reaction to it than you did.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I was like, oh no. Now we're watching this for weeks.
You have to remember, I am from Boston.
A little different.
There was a lot of like, I don't fucking care about this kid in a hole.
Baby
whatever. Rags to Riches is on. The only thing I remember about it too is they had a diagram of digging a hole next to the well, and they sent a guy down there who didn't have a collarbone.
Yeah. I recently looked into this again because I was like, I forgot what happened with all that. And I recently looked at the drawing. Yeah. They were going to send a kid down, and then there was some like fireman or something. I don't know. Or he wasn't a fireman or anything. He was like just a guy.
He was like a local character that everyone knew.
He was just the local drunk.
Get Johnny no collarbone. He could do it.
Get him a couple extra beers. He'll do it.
How has that not been a movie? I mean, I know they made a TV movie about baby Jessica, but like the story of that guy.
Yeah, the story. It's just the story of the rescue team and stuff.
Yeah.
Good God.
Like, what? So I didn't see that episode until it came out on DVD in 2012. I had to wait like 25 years to see the rest of that goddamn episode.
Well, what happened?
It wasn't that great of an episode. I will, in her defense, I will apologize and say it wasn't really worth the wait. But, you know, the show was only on one season. It very rarely repeated, and I never got to see it. So, hey, look where you're walking, baby Jessica. That's what I'm saying.
Like, everybody, let's fill up those wells, huh?
Yeah.
Let's everyone this summer go out in your backyard, have a little walk around, see what's out there.
See what wells are there.
Also, watch your babies.
I saw an article recently about they used to have in-ground trash cans in people's backyards here. What? With like a foot pedal, and it would go down to like a permanently burning fire pit.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what? Because it was like, hey, you ever see one of these in a backyard? I bet you wondered what it is. It was this. And I remembered my grandfather having one when I was growing up, and it was just this little pedal like in the backyard. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And it was,
How wide was the hole? Like big enough for a kid to fall in?
No, it was like a small, like an office-sized trash can.
That's big enough for baby Jessica.
That's right. That's why you want kids with big heads, because they're not going to fall down things.
Yeah. Holy
like
cow. Just a hole with the burning.
Yeah,
That's
that would have been
dangerous, guys.
She would have been like, oh my God, I fell into hell.
Yeah. There would have been
She basically would have.
Rescue.
Well, I would have told you. Yeah. Well, I would have got to see Rags to Riches is what I'm saying. If every state had adopted that. Anyway, okay. 21 Jump Street.
Okay. So then I would, at the real 8 o'clock, I would start Family Ties. And I had a question. It looked like it was an hour long. Was it always an hour long, or was that?
No.
Was this a special one?
This was a repeat of the penultimate episode. So Family Ties ended this previous season, and they had a 90-minute final episode, and I had to call in sick to school the next day because I was so upset. But this was, they kind of ramped up to 90-minute episodes, and this is a clip show. So this is when Courtney Cox played Alex's girlfriend, and the clip show is she's doing a psychology report about the basic American family. And so it's like her interviewing them in the living room being like, hey, was there ever a time when you did this? And they're like,
I remember this. I absolutely remember this one.
Yeah. Not bad. It's not a bad clip show.
Okay, I have to bring up a different 80s show that I did not see in this TV guide, but okay, when I was young, I would have memories of this show, and it was my favorite show, but I couldn't remember exactly what it was called or really what it was, and I never could find anyone to corroborate. Like, I never really knew if it even existed until I was about 22, and I found someone who knew what I was talking about, and they were like, it was called Misfits of Science.
Oh, God, with Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
Here, this'll...
And now you can look it up easily on the internet, and it's just, you can, yeah, oh my God.
This is a German DVD box set that I had to get of the entire series. Der Spretzelsatz in Uterwegs. The Misfits of Science. It's Courtney Cox's first thing after the Dancing in the Dark video. It's good.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
It's good, really?
Yeah, it's fun. It's a very fun show. About 8 years ago, I did my second comedy album. I had an opening theme song, and the direction I gave the kid was rip off the Misfits of Science theme song.
Incredible! Oh my gosh!
And he did, and it's great.
I would love to hear that. Do you remember how it went?
Yeah. The original Misfits of Science theme song? Yeah, so it starts off as kind of like croony. It's like, those misfits of science. Yes! And then a guy kicks the TV over and you hear the guitar go like, and then it's like, science, straight from the heart.
Yes!
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Oh my God. I mean, I would have been, that was 95 or 96?
Oh God, no, that's 84.
Or that's what I meant, 80.
Yeah.
Okay, 84?
Yeah.
So I was 6 years old, and that was my favorite show. I mean,
it's a cool concept.
I was like, Courtney Cox is the cool,
oh yeah.
I think she's the reason I'm curious. You know, she is.
You and a lot of people.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, playing an Italian-American teenage runaway with psychic powers? Come on.
Psychic powers? Come on.
Yeah.
So did they all have, it was teenagers with powers in a science lab?
So she was the teenager. There was a guy named Johnny Lightning who was a rock and roll singer who got hit by lightning while he was singing, and somehow the microphone and all the stuff, he could run really fast and shoot lightning out of his hands. There was a guy who was played by Kevin Peter Hall, who also played the Predator, and he was a huge black guy, and he had a button installed in the back of his neck that he could shrink and grow with.
Okay.
And then there was a guy who was only in the pilot called the Iceman, and he was a guy who was an unfrozen scientist who could freeze things, and he was played by Bob Dylan's drummer. And so they drive around in an ice cream truck because he's kind of like the Hulk. They got to keep him on ice, but then the rest of the series they still drive around in the ice cream truck, but they never see or talk about this character again. So
what is the point of it? What's the main?
So they're sort of the X-Men, kind of, but the idea is that this corporation is using them as ambassadors and kind of exploiting them as like a way to make money. Like they sell like memorabilia, you can buy Misfits of Science jackets and stuff in here in this thing. And it's a weird concept because it's kind of, to a degree, it's about like fame and people being like used by corporations.
Okay.
But it's also basically the A-Team.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is more information than I have ever had about this memory.
And Dean Martin's son is in it. Dean Martin.
Weird.
And he plays like kind of their leader. He's kind of like Styles from Teen Wolf.
Sure.
So he's like their manager, and people hated it. They really hated it.
Yeah, well, 6-year-olds loved it.
6-year-olds loved it. Yeah, this was Brendan Tartikoff, who was the youngest head of a network ever. And NBC was absolutely last place when he took over. They had nothing to lose. So he just threw out all these weird show concepts, and they made all of them. And some of them you get cheers. He
Must See TV or whatever?
That was after him.
Night?
That was the tail end of his run, but he, like Night Court, he had greenlit, but he created like Punky Brewster, Miami Vice, Cheers, LA Law, Hill Street Blues, but then also Misfits of Science, Manimal, stuff like that.
Never heard of that one.
Oh, Manimal's about a super rich guy who can change into different animals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
throw a cool Courtney Cox in there, and I would have been into it.
Yeah. Courtney Cox would have been great on Manimal, but sadly not to be. So he just threw all these concepts at the wall, and Misfits of Science was one of them. I think you could do a decent like movie remake of that now.
Oh my gosh, I would absolutely. I would be so excited about that.
One of my holy grails of crap, and looking at my office, I've probably got a lot of my holy grails of crap I've achieved, is a Misfits of Science jacket, because they had them on in the show. It's not just like a cast and crew jacket. It was like in canon.
Oh,
that they had these like purple satin jackets.
Yes.
That said Misfits of Science on the back with like a lightning bolt.
A triangle. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. That sounds awesome.
Someday I will find one.
Let's get that.
Yeah, so that was 84, so that's why it's not in 88, but that was Courtney Cox's previous big role. And between Misfits of Science and Family Ties, of course, she starred in the terrible Masters of the Universe movie.
I don't even know what that is.
It's He-Man.
Oh, wow.
With Dolph Lundgren as He-Man.
She was in that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's the lead in that movie.
Wow.
Also, I don't know if you saw this ad on Sunday for The Young and the Restless. On Monday, it's a full page ad. It's on page 46 of the PDF. And it's Michael Damien, who played the character Danny Romaladi.
Oh my God. Wait, yes. And he's doing a rock show, right?
Yep.
Danny Romaladi doing a rock show.
And he had a big hit the summer of 1989 with the cover of Rock On.
Oh, God.
If you remember that song.
Yeah. Oh,
that was Michael Damien. And he was one of those soap opera actors that was like, I want to put out an album. So they really pushed it.
Ugh.
Danny Romaladi.
Danny Romaladi.
This picture is ridiculous.
Keep scrolling for it. I know I saw
He's wearing a kimono and a bolo tie. It is.
That's so perfect.
Offensively 80s.
There he is. A special week. Danny Romaladi in concert to save the earth.
So every day, gotta save the earth. You know, every day he's playing music in this concert that we can see on The Young and the Restless.
That's crazy. Works. I think I loved Michael Damien. I think that might have been a thing I knew about as a little girl and was like, cool, that's a cool rock star.
Well, earlier in this year, he guest starred in a Facts of Life episode where Joe went to Atlantic City and he was playing Michael Damien.
Oh my
And they had
gosh.
a little fling.
Oh my gosh.
And he sings a whole song. Sings a whole song in the episode.
I bet that's why I knew who he was.
Yep. Hey kids, rock and roll. Rock on.
Wow.
The best dumb part of that song, when he goes, Jimmy Dean, and then it goes, James Dean. Like,
yep, absolutely.
They're in the studio and it's just that part. And he's like, guys, I got a really good idea.
This, like, I feel like I can feel myself playing with Barbies with my best friend in second grade. And that's like playing in the background at all times. That's very specific.
Was also used as the theme to Dream a Little Dream, starring the Coreys.
There it is. Yes. The Coreys.
Yep.
Which were...
I could still not tell you what the plot of that movie is, and I've seen it maybe 10 times.
Was there a plot, Ken?
There's body changing. Jason Robards is in it. I think he becomes Corey Feldman somehow, but
I don't know
it doesn't...
if I ever saw it, because I think I was maybe too young and wasn't allowed to. I don't really remember.
Thank you,
but they were
for that.
like, they were the two ultimate teen boy crushes.
Oh, yeah. The only thing I remember from that movie is there's a joke where Corey Haim says, I thought SAT stood for Saturday Afternoon Test.
Incredible. Oh, Coreys.
Yeah, the Coreys. My God. Monday, what do you got?
All right, Monday, I've got Newhart, Hogan Family, Kate and Ellie, Designing Women.
Yeah, perfect night. CBS Monday nights. Perfect.
Yummy. Yeah, that's just delightful. This would have been Sandy Duncan, I think, by now, wouldn't it have?
It was Sandy Duncan, yeah. Once it turned to Hogan Family, it was Sandy Duncan.
Okay. And Newhart, it's so funny to me that I liked that as a little kid, because, like, it looked so boring, and it was just like this bald older guy. You know what I mean? There was nothing. It's nothing like anything else I enjoyed as a little girl. Like, I liked stuff with pretty ladies or men, other shit in it. But Newhart, so I was like, this is great.
Well,
this is
silly.
good TV.
There's like cartoony big characters, and that is one of the 80s shows I revisit often now, and it's so funny.
I actually have a dumb question for you. I don't know which is which. Is this the one where he's in his hotel, or is this the one where he's a psychologist?
Yeah, this is the Vermont one where he owns the inn.
Daryl and Daryl.
Yes,
which was so funny to me as a kid.
Hilarious. It's the ensemble cast of that show is so funny. I laugh so much rewatching that show, even episodes I've seen a million times. It is just great.
I should go back. I'm going to have an 80s night tonight for sure.
Oh yeah, go for it. It's Tom Snyder who created Dr. Katz, not the Tom Snyder, the talk show host, but Jonathan Katz and Tom Snyder, their favorite ever joke is from Newhart. And if people at home are playing TV Guidance Counselor Bingo, you probably get a square here because I'm mentioning this one again. But their favorite ever joke is Peter Scolari's in with a therapist, and it's Melanie Chardoff, been on the show, and Melanie goes, I'm afraid I can't see you anymore because of my feelings for you. And he goes, I knew it, you hate me. And she goes, no, I'm afraid it's very much the opposite. And he goes, I hate you?
Oh, that's so good.
Perfect. And that show just had so many killer jokes. It was really great.
Oh, so good. That's awesome.
There's a weird thing on. I don't know if you noticed. It's on WPIX.
I don't know. What is it?
It is the Mother-Daughter International Pageant.
Oh, God. What does that mean?
Bert Parks hosts the event in which contestants are judged on personality, appearance, community, and personal achievements. And Anthony Newley performs, this is the weirdest part, taped in Guam.
What? What's happening?
That's a lot of things that shouldn't be in the same show. Anthony,
do you remember it?
No. I used to watch all the pageants, and I never watched this one.
Yeah, that one sounds bonkers.
Anthony Newley scares me a little bit, to be honest with you.
I don't know who that is. I'm going to look him up.
He wrote all the songs from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
That's scary in and of itself.
Did you ever see the Garbage Pail Kids movie?
No, but if he was involved, that's pretty weird.
He's in that. Yeah, he's in that. David Bowie in his early days was considered an Anthony Newley ripoff.
Wait, is he from he's from a Three's Company?
No. He does look a little bit like the Regal Beagle guy. Look at this picture. Yeah, that does look exactly like the friend from Three's Company, but that is Anthony Newley.
Okay.
Yeah, so he wrote the Candyman and all those songs from Willy Wonka.
Oh, yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, so he's probably performing the Candyman at the Mother-Daughter International Pageant on Guam.
Oh, my God. No.
Oof. Oh, imagine. And I imagine every single, because, you know, you have pageant moms. Every single girl in that has been forced to be in it by their mother. I guarantee you not a single one of them wanted to do it and had to convince their mom.
Yeah, that's awful. Gross.
Now I need to see if that's on YouTube.
Send it to me.
Yeah,
I tried to be. I had a friend in 7th grade, so that would have been about 1990-ish, a little after, and she was in pageants, and I wanted so badly to be in them. I mean,
dodged a bullet.
Oh my God. I mean, what? First of all, I'm not built for pageant life. But luckily my parents told me no way. They were like, that is insane. Because she would go around trying to like raise money. It was such a scam. It was such a gross scam. She had this like evil stepmother too. It was all so gross.
My God. Yeah. That was one thing we didn't, growing up, I don't think we had any like pageant kids. I couldn't even imagine. How strange.
Yeah. So I got lucky.
Hogan Family. Yeah. It's not as great when it's pretty bad when it's Cindy Duncan, I will say. And then Kate and Allie, another show, absolutely love, holds up, watch it all the time still. It's really funny. Jane Curtin is the best. The whole cast is funny. It's great.
I haven't seen it since I was a little kid, but I bet I would still love it.
It holds up really well because it's just dialogue and character. Like, it's not that high concept of a show. Yeah. And it's sweet and funny and like just really well done.
Was there like a teenage daughter on it? Or like...
Two of them.
Okay.
They each had a teenage daughter. I think I
remember one episode where like one of the teenage daughters got a job at a pizza shop. This could have been a different show. But
nope, that's this show.
Okay. And she got sexually harassed. Mm-hmm. And she quit her job.
Yep.
And I just remember that.
The girl who played that daughter was the second Annie on Broadway.
Holy shit, Ken. That's wild.
That is not useful to anyone. Remember, this is a Boston area edition, so I will mention that on Monday night at 10:30, Hershey's Hollywood is on, which was our local movie host, Dana Hershey, who fans of the show will hear me talk about often. He refused to be on my show, and John Hodgman wrote him an angry email.
Good. Come on now, sir.
I'm Dana Hershey. Legend has it he would often go into bars drunk and announce, "I'm Dana Hershey. Who wants to fight me?"
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd fight him.
Oh, yeah. Just for the story.
He sounds awful.
He's still around. Tuesday, what are you doing?
Tuesday. Oh, Tuesday. Tuesday's fun. I'm going to do a little bit of Howard the Duck. And then,
I like that movie.
And then I'm going to move on to Moonlighting.
That's a good night.
Yeah.
Howard the Duck is underrated, I have to say. It's got a cool plot line about the Dark Overlords, which is very Lovecraftian.
I mean, yeah, again, I have not seen this since I was way too little to understand it. All I remember, I said to my husband, I was like, there's tits in it, right? And he was like, yeah. He was like, there's duck tits.
Yeah. Is that the same thing? In the opening scene, no less.
This is really funny. My husband told me earlier today, he said, my grandmother took me to see that movie in the theater. I sat next to my grandmother through the entire movie.
I'm surprised she stayed. Like, in that first 10 minutes, like, once you see a naked duck, like, most grandmothers would be like, we're leaving.
Ugh, that's funny.
Maybe she loved it. Maybe his grandmother was really into Howard the Duck. Because it's also implied in the plot of the movie that Leah Thompson and Howard the Duck do it.
Oh, yes. It's very implied.
That's, yeah.
And that's like when we all fell in love with her, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Back to the Future was just an appetizer to the true Leah Thompson winning us all over with Howard the Duck.
Oh, my God.
I have the soundtrack to that somewhere. And
that
it comes
movie
with a poster.
Messed us all up sexually.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, 100%.
I
and
can't
poor
just
Tim Robbins.
go casually feed the ducks on a Sunday afternoon.
No.
You know?
Whenever I see bread, something strange happens. You passed up, though. There's a world premiere miniseries on CBS that night. This was a BBC co-production of a new version of Alice in Wonderland. And it's got a really weird all-star cast in it.
I saw some of them. It looks just bonkers.
Beau Bridges as the Queen of Hearts.
Wow.
Steve Allen is in it. Artie Johnson, Carl Malden, Pat Morita, Ringo Starr, Jonathan Winters, Donna Mills, Harvey Korman, and Jillian, Merv Griffin, and then as a sheep, Patrick Duffy.
What? Patrick Duffy as a sheep.
As a sheep, yeah.
As a sheep. There's a sheep in Alice in Wonderland?
I don't remember the sheep, but there's Patrick Duffy.
He got kind of screwed by his casting agent.
Or they were like, guys, find me a part for Patrick Duffy in this.
We're like, he kind of looks like a sheep.
Playing the Mad Hatter, Anthony Newley.
What?
There you go.
Wow. That makes sense, honestly, after looking at his face. That makes perfect sense.
Oh my God. The Cheshire Cat is played by Telly Savalis. Terrifying.
Oh my God.
And then the Caterpillar is Sammy Davis Jr.
What?
Yeah.
That's weirdly familiar to me. That's like, that is burned somewhere in my mind. Sammy Davis Jr.
nuts.
as a caterpillar is
and he's
somewhere in my head.
Emphasizes the cat. He's like, cats, a pillar, like that kind of thing. Wow. That's...
Oh, our little
Savalis
brains saw that.
Yeah, I would not...
At least we saw ads for it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like, that's inside me somewhere.
You would only need 2 frames of Telly Savalis as the Cheshire Cat to be forever changed.
Forever.
No, thank you. Oof. Yikes. Yeah, but a good night. That's a good night.
Moonlighting was like my favorite. I mean, I think I was not alone in that.
It's streaming again now. Have you revisited it?
No, I have not.
It's on Hulu.
Is it still fun to watch?
It really is. It's really good.
Okay. It is kind of the exact sort of show that I like. I love a dumb detective. Ugh.
But it's smart though too. Like it's so knowing and like, it breaks the fourth wall all the time. But it doesn't seem...
light, just like a really light.
Yes. It's definitely not heavy. Yeah. It somehow manages to be very knowing and sort of meta without being annoying. Like it's not like sarcastic about it or like, yeah. It somehow is still like likable when it does it.
Okay.
Back when you still could be worth watching. I will say. And there's also I Dream of Jeanie 15 years later.
Ugh, what are we doing?
Made for TV movie.
Oh wow!
Who's
in it?
Everyone from the original series.
Oh.
Barbara Eden reprises her role as the genial genie. Wayne Rogers takes Larry Hagman wasn't in it, whose mortal marriage is tested by his newfound independence. What a lazy title. I Dream of Jeanie 15 years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long has it been? 15 years? That's what it's called.
Working title, guys, but if we can't think of anything better, it'll work.
Just never revisited it.
Yes. It's like when someone does a PowerPoint at work and they forget to take the Greek language out. You can tell they put language here. That's what happened with that title. The producer saw it on TV. He's like, "Oh shit! It wasn't supposed. They were supposed to come up with a title. No, it's too late." Wednesday, what'd you do?
Wednesday, I was a little lost, so I just went. I went back to school.
It's a good movie.
I can't imagine it holds up great. I imagine there's some problematic stuff in it, but
oh yes,
but I would put it on in a hotel room when no one else was around, you know?
There's some funny lines still that make me laugh. When Dangerfield's like, hey, I was hoping you could help me straighten out my Longfellow.
What's the line at the very end of the movie? We're all getting laid or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Hey, everyone, we're all getting laid. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that movie. And then Kurt Vonnegut's in it.
Yes?
Yes, actual Kurt Vonnegut's in the movie playing himself.
Wow, I did not know that. I didn't like it at the time. When I was a kid, I was like, Rodney Dangerfield confuses me. Like, I was turned off by his whole vibe.
Yeah.
But now,
as you should be.
Okay, I would watch
He's
that.
really funny in it. Yeah, because there's a gag where he hires all these people to write his papers for him. And he's like, hey, Vonnegut, you got an F on Vonnegut. And he's like, it's really Kurt Vonnegut. And he's like, what? He got an F on a paper about his own book.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
But you wouldn't even know, like, you would have to know what Kurt Vonnegut looks like.
Yeah.
Like, what a weird, very strange.
What a weird cameo.
Also, the first time that Sam Kinison appeared in a movie.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Fun.
Rodney Dangerfield hired a bunch of stand-up comics from the Rodney Dangerfield Young Comedian specials, and they all have small parts in Back to School.
Okay.
Including Boston's own Steve Sweeney.
Steve Sweeney. I don't know Steve Sweeney.
So the Chinese food waiter comes up. And then like 5 minutes of like offensive impressions.
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh God,
yep.
Can I tell you, this is the most offensive thing I'm ever going to say. But this was said to me in Boston. Me and my friend. So I was there with Courtney Baca for the Women in Comedy Festival a few years ago. And it's the only time I think I've ever been to Boston. And we were joking around outside of like a store. It wasn't like bar time, but it was late. We had been at the bar. We were joking around. We were taking pictures with this dumb poster with a bunch of beef on it. You know, it was just a stupid moment.
As one does.
And this most Boston-looking, like preppy, fratty-looking guy walks by. And he, in the thickest Boston accent I've ever heard, he just goes, you fucking retards.
Yep, that sounds right.
And I was like, what? You can't say that.
Oh, and they will. Yeah, there's the thing that sums Boston up the best to me is a few years back, there was a summer replacement series. It was a reality series where they had cameras inside hospital emergency rooms. And one of the hospitals was Mass General.
Okay.
And there's this scene where it's like super serious show. It was like like we're going to win an Emmy show. So this homeless guy comes in and he's all bleeding. He's in an accident or something. They're rushing him into the emergency room and he's screaming. And they pull him around this corner and he sticks his finger out and puts it in the face of this doctor and he goes, sort your hair out. Get a haircut. And then goes back in.
What?
And I'm like, yep. Do something with your hair.
Oh, Boston, get it together.
Take time out from dying so you can just insult some dude's haircut.
That's so good.
It's,
Sort your hair out.
I couldn't believe I saw. I had to like find it again and be like, yes, I did. That is exactly what I saw. That's what happened. Oof, my God. Thursday, what'd you do?
Thursday is must-see TV. We got Cosby Show, Different World, Cheers, Night Court. I mean, that one was
a killer night.
Easy. I was like, I'm not even going to change the channel.
That is a killer night. I do want to mention on Thursday night, speaking of pageants, I don't know if this is pageant season or something, but on page 83 of the PDF, because this is a Boston edition, it says, enter the 1988 Massachusetts Miss Massachusetts contest. Oh. And so it is, you go, let's see, sponsored by Aloe Cream Labs, makers of Fashion Tan and Tannin Secrets. Yeah. Tannin Secrets is the funniest name of a product. At the Park West Hotel in Marlboro, October 30th, 1988. Women of America and Teens of America, 18 to 27, single or married, and 13 to 17, years of age.
Oh, God. I would have brought that to my parents and been like, Mom, let me go.
State winners compete at national finals to star in a fashion tan TV commercial, plus a Hawaiian vacation. Performing talent not required. It literally says that.
Just titties.
That's it. If you're worried about coming because you can't twirl anything or sing or something,
don't even worry about it.
No problem.
Your titties are fine. Big ones, little ones, any kind.
You know what? Tan and secrets. The second part's important.
You got secrets? Come audition.
We got tans. That's how it works. It's the sleaziest looking ad. I can't imagine anyone, like there's 14-year-olds like, Dad, can I go to this? No, nobody would be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Bring your little secrets down there.
Oh, it's the tan and secrets people? As long as it's professional. Oh, that looks sleazy. Yeah, so you get all the great NBC summer reruns here. Cosby Show, Monster, great show. Night Court, one of my favorite. Different World, so good.
Oh, I love Different World. Is great. Yep.
Have you watched the new Night Court?
No, but I should have given it a go.
The little bits I've seen of it, it's kind of exactly like the regular Night Court.
Okay.
Like it's the same continuity. It looks the same. It's really weird how the same it is.
There's no Marky Post.
There isn't, or Bull, or Judge Stone, or Mac, because they're all dead. But Marsha Warfield and John Larroquette are on it.
Oh, that's fun. That is fun.
Yeah, they're playing the same characters, so that is pretty good. And then, what's Cheers that night? Let's see. Oh, this is one where Wade Boggs of the Red Sox has a cameo.
God, I don't know that I
only know that.
That means nothing to me.
My parents made me play T-ball, and we had to fill out things for like a baseball card that we got of us.
Okay.
And so favorite player, I wrote Wade Boggs, but I only knew his name because he was on Cheers.
That's great.
Yeah. That was
Sitcoms
it. Couldn't tell you what he played.
Something.
I could fake being a human with that. And final night of the week, Friday night, what'd you do?
Okay, I for sure just would watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That is a good one.
I mean, even though I've already seen it 1 million times, I would watch that again.
Is that your favorite Hughes movie?
I think so, yeah.
Fair.
I guess I don't know. What what am I missing?
16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Uncle Buck.
God, they're all great. But Ferris Bueller, it was just one that we had on, like, I don't know, beta or VHS or whatever it was. And I watched it so many times.
Yeah.
That it just feels like home.
Yeah. That's a movie I can quote pretty much every line from.
Oh, for sure. I bet I still could. Absolutely.
Easily.
Yeah, I think out of any movie in the world, I would guess that that's the one I've seen the most.
The guy who plays the maitre d', the Snooty,
yeah.
he was in a stand-up comedy duo called the Funny Boys, and he has been a producer at HBO for years. And one year I invited myself to the HBO Aspen Comedy Festival, and he was there because he was just like working, and I was so starstruck. Very rarely.
Absolutely.
I was like, whoa. It was so bizarre. It was, yeah.
Oh, can you please just seat me?
Yes. The Sausage King of
Chicago.
Yeah. Jonathan Schmuck, I think his name is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, there was one on Friday, though, that me and my husband discussed while looking through Black's Magic.
Yes. Yes.
He reminded me of it, and I was like, I don't know. But then as he talked about it, was it like a magician and crime, and was one of them a ghost?
No, neither one was a ghost, but it was two really old guys, so close.
Okay.
So this was Hal Linden, who played Barney Miller on Barney Miller.
Yes.
And Hal Linden's an old guy. Like he was probably in his 50s, and he's a stage magician, and he solves mysteries with his dad, who's played by Harry Morgan, who's like 70 years old.
What?
Yeah. In this particular episode, Tina Louise from Gilligan's Island is guest starring.
Wow. Well,
yeah, this was a fun show. This is a fun show. This one is, while working as a technical consultant for a new movie, Alex, Hal Linden, gets an added responsibility when the producer is murdered. So it's like Murder, She Wrote, but with magicians.
And like sillier. It was pretty silly, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because it was always like, there was always that Matlock kind of Sherlock Holmes moment when he was like, well, as a stage magician, I noticed.
Yeah.
that you used this old magic trick.
Awesome.
And yeah, fun. Again, a show that only lasted one season, but was fun and weird. And it's up against, ironically, a Gilligan's Island marathon.
I noticed that there were a lot of ads for the Gilligan's Island marathon. I was like,
summer.
Is that what we wanted?
I mean, it's tropical. It's summertime. There's a lot of marathons at night in the summer, I guess. But yeah, I never really liked Gilligan's Island that much.
Me neither.
Not my thing.
Do it for me.
No. But we get first season Full House.
Oof. I don't know. I don't think I ever liked Full House. No,
it's
maybe
dumb.
I did. I watched it. I know I had a crush on Uncle Jesse, but
who didn't?
And I liked was she from Blossom? No.
That's Blossom. Yeah.
But there's a Kimmy
Gibbler.
Yeah, Kimmy Gibbler. Okay, see, they're the same to me.
Yeah, 6 was played by Jenna Von Oy.
Okay.
Who was on 2 sitcoms simultaneously. She was on Lenny Clark's sitcom, speaking of generic Boston comics, and Blossom at the same time. And the network had to like skirt child labor laws because they worked her on like 2 shot in front of a live studio audience sitcoms at the same time. Adult actors don't do that.
That's wild. Good for her.
Yeah, she worked out. She now lives in Nashville, Tennessee, does music, has about 6 kids and a bunch of dogs. Very nice gal.
Nice.
Had her on the show.
Oh my God, I love that.
She's great. There's a show on that I've never heard of before, and I assume it was just a summer series getting dumped because it's not a rerun, and it's called Doodles. And this is a tomboy wants to take advantage of a too good to be true sale on color TVs, despite a caution from her friend, Doodles, played by Hoyt Axton.
Who's Hoyt Axton?
Hoyt Axton was a singer who wrote songs for Elvis and then played the dad in Gremlins.
What?
Yes. He was also the voice of Peaches in the 80s on Peaches ads. He'd be like, California Peaches.
Wow. This is
Hoyt
some
Axton.
confusing 80s stuff.
This is advice from her friend Doodles that the goods may be hot.
Oh, 1988. You were so silly.
How did that? And it says not on ABC's announced fall schedule. So yeah, they're burning this pilot off. But how did this, like someone pitched it like, guys, I got Hoyt Axton. Let me tell you about this show. Just picture it. Doodles. They're like, what? It's Hoyt Axton and a teenage tomboy. And they're like, yeah, I'm sold. Perfect.
Oh my God.
Doodles. That's bad. That's bad. Now I need to find Doodles. I want to see if that's if that is somewhere in the internet. I will mention 2020 is on at 10 o'clock. It's the only show my parents told me I couldn't watch because I just annoyed the shit out of them.
Because they wanted to focus?
No, I watched it and then I would be terrified of everything. Mm-hmm. So I'd be like, don't use that ATM. Watch out for the lap seat belts. There's medical waste at the beach. Like all that stuff from 2020. So they were just like, shut up. You can't watch this show anymore. And this one's kind of boring. This is a 50th anniversary salute to Tanglewood, the Massachusetts summer residency of the Boston Symphony Orchestra. Blah.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch that one. But sometimes I would totally watch that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
2020, this actual season got in trouble for showing an episode that featured a live exorcism.
Ooh, exciting.
And it was, yeah, that's online. That is some exploitation. Let me tell you. Well, Ellie, as you know, TV Guide is not just informative. It has opinions and it cheers and it jeers. So to wrap up here, I would like to read you the cheers and jeers of this week in August 1988. See if you agree or disagree with TV Guide's opinions.
This is tough because I got to tell you, Ken, I already read through this and I didn't know any of this stuff. This was kind of a disappointing cheers and jeers for me.
There is even just eyeballing it right now myself. I'm like, I don't even know what these are. Because this first one, this cheers to Pulaski, the TV detective. Never heard of it. This overlooked British series, which concludes this week on cable's A&E, centers on Larry Summers, the hard-drinking, womanizing American star of a hit detective show filmed in England. I'd never heard of this. Pulaski.
I'd watch it, though. It sounds kind of right up my alley.
Yeah, I actually kind of would watch it, too.
I love all shows that are, like, made for old men.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I will watch Reacher, and I will have something to talk to my dad about.
Have a great time. I recognize this actor because he's in the movie Cherry 2000.
What's that?
Cherry 2000 is set in the future, and he's like a yuppie, and his sex robot malfunctions. So he hires a bounty hunter played by Melanie Griffith to sneak him into the zone, which is like a condemned post-nuke part of the world, so that he can get a new Cherry 2000 because it's a discontinued model.
Oh, wow. That sounds great.
Came out 88 also. Oh, this guy must have been like, I'm on top of the world, baby. I got a show in the UK. I'm starring in Cherry 2000.
Oh, my God.
Oof.
He was having a year.
He really was. Jeers to ABC's summer replacement series, Hot House, for abusing a good cast with bad scripts. The show concerns itself with the staff of a psychiatric clinic, but it would appear the inmates were running the asylum. In one episode, the neurotic doctors did nothing but talk about their problems and self-doubts while jumping in and out of bed with each other. An hour of anxious pillow talk is hard to take. The painful part has been watching some excellent actors, including Michael Lerner, Joseph Smurf, and Art Malik, try to make good drama out of silly psychobabble. That sounds like it'd be a hit now. Isn't that Grey's Anatomy?
That is Grey's Anatomy. It sounds great. Were
I like how they're just
enough?
like, show's called Hot House. What's it about? Doesn't matter. It's called Hot House. Everyone will watch it.
They're fucking.
Yeah, Hot House. You know it is. It could be about botanists, as long as they're boning. As long as they're, what was it called? What bone? No, I need to look up the clock again.
Oh, mild bone. No.
Subtle bone. Subtle bone. Yeah. The show could be called Subtle Bone and it would still be popular. Cheers to PBS's documentary series Frontline for consistent quality. The recently completed 6th season was one of the best ever. From January's Praise the Lord, an examination of Jim and Tammy Baker, to the chilling look at domestic violence, My Husband is Going to Kill Me. That's what it was called?
Yikes!
Jesus Christ, which closed the cycle. Frontline's documentaries continue to shame the commercial networks, which have neglected one of the medium's most important and powerful tools. Don't call it My Husband's Gonna Kill Me.
Again, just another fun plot point.
Yes, My Husband's Gonna Kill Me 15 years later. And finally, jeers to Geraldo Rivera for his interview with Natalie Wood's sister Lana and Warren Harris, who wrote a book on the late actress's 2 marriages to Robert Wagner. On his syndicated talk show, Rivera grilled the 2 guests about Wood's death as though they were on trial for murder, or at the very least, suppressing evidence. Turning to the studio audience, he prompted, quote, "If you think Natalie's death was an accident, applaud." With her sister there? What a piece of shit.
I vaguely remember this. Like, I remember that Geraldo had something to do, like, he was very passionate about Natalie Wood's murder.
God. But, like, he's always been the worst.
Yeah, he was hated from the get-go.
Yes, this 88 was the year he got his nose broken by that white supremacist.
Was it?
The only good thing a white supremacist has ever done.
Yeah.
Hit with a chair in the face. Pretty exciting.
These things happen.
So you have a list of things to watch. I have a list of things to watch now, which is always exciting.
Yes.
This was very fun. I appreciate, and when you watch those things, I'll have to get a follow-up to hear what you thought of them.
Absolutely. I'm going to go back to Spencer for Hire, maybe a little moonlighting.
Nice.
God, if you can send me a clip of that German Misfits of Science.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A lot of those are online, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
And I'll preview the mother-daughter pageant.
Yeah, I'm good, Ken.
But you know Anthony Newley's on it, right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, fair enough. Well, thank you for doing this. It's been great talking to you.
Thanks so much for having me, Ken.
That's Ellie. Soft bones, not subtle bone. Subtle bone is a phrase that I will attempt to weave into day-to-day conversation now. I don't know, at least till the end of the year. That's my promise to you. That's the TV guidance counselor guarantee. I will weave in subtle bone into conversations till the end of 2024. I'm a little silly today, guys. I'm sorry. And I use the word silly, which I never do. I'm going to go. All right. I'm going to go and rest. But I'll be here next week, and I hope you will too, for a brand new edition of TV Guidance Counselor.
There's tits in it, right? And he was like, there's duck tits.